Something's shifting on Coronation Street's cobbles, and this time it isn't a burst pipe or a factory fire. It's something quieter, heavier, and far more personal. Alison King's Carla Connor, the woman who has survived kidnappings, collapsed factory roofs, psychiatric wards, and more heartbreak than almost any other character in Weatherfield history, is now at the center of the most emotional conversation in the soap's fandom. Across social media, comment sections, and soap news channels, the same phrase keeps surfacing. Is Carla Connor finally saying goodbye? And the reason fans are asking isn't idle speculation pulled from nowhere. It's built on a mounting pile of clues, callbacks, and a health history for this character that has been quietly ticking like a countdown for years. So buckle up, Corrie fans, because today we're breaking down exactly what's going on with Carla Connor, why this feels different from every other scare she's faced before, and what it could mean for one of the most iconic characters in British soap history. Let's start with why this story matters so much, because if you're newer to Coronation Street, you need to understand just how central Carla Connor is to the DNA of this show. Alison King first stepped onto the cobbles back in December 2006, playing the sharp-tongued, emotionally armored businesswoman who would go on to become one of the most enduring characters in the show's modern era. Over nearly 2 decades, on and off, Carla has been through almost everything a soap character can survive. She lost her first husband Paul Connor in a car crash. She married the manipulative Tony Gordon, who orchestrated a murder and then nearly killed her by burning down the factory she loved. She endured a devastating breakdown after the roof of Underworld collapsed and killed her employee Rana Habib, a tragedy she blamed herself for so completely that she ended up sectioned in a psychiatric unit. She married and divorced Peter Barlow not once but twice. And more recently, she opened an entirely new chapter of her life, discovering feelings for police officer Lisa Swain and stepping into her first same-sex relationship, which fans watched blossom into marriage this year. But threaded through all of that drama has been something quieter and, in hindsight, much more ominous: Carla's health. Longtime viewers will remember that back in January 2025, Carla was rushed to hospital after being found collapsed at home by Roy Cropper, and doctors diagnosed her with sepsis, an infection so severe it caused lasting damage to her kidney. That storyline forced Carla's entire family to confront the possibility that she might need a transplant, with her nephew Bobby Crawford even reaching out to her estranged brother Rob Donovan in prison to ask if he'd be a donor match. It was one of the most gripping medical storylines Corrie has run in years, and it left Carla's body and her relationships forever changed. Then came the chaos of the Corriedale crossover event at the start of this year, when Becky Swain's actions plunged Carla into a life-threatening car crash alongside characters crossing over from Emmerdale. Carla survived, but it was yet another brutal reminder of just how fragile her storyline has become. So when whispers began circulating this summer that Carla might be facing a new and far more serious health development, longtime fans didn't dismiss it. They braced for it. And that's exactly where we are right now. Speculation has exploded online, fueled by cryptic comments, a noticeably reflective tone from Alison King in recent press appearances, and behind-the-scenes hints that something big is being built toward for Carla's story. Several entertainment channels and soap commentary accounts have run with headlines suggesting Carla is saying goodbye following a new diagnosis, and while ITV has not issued an official confirmation naming a specific illness or announcing a permanent exit, the buzz has reached a fever pitch that the show's marketing team would be thrilled with, and that fans are approaching with genuine anxiety rather than excitement. Here's what we do know for certain, and what's fueling the theory train. Alison King has spoken publicly about how personal Carla has become to her after 19 years of playing the role, on and off, and she's been notably candid in recent interviews about wanting Carla's eventual story to feel earned rather than rushed, a sentiment fans have interpreted as foreshadowing a major send-off rather than another quick hospital dash followed by a full recovery. Soap bosses have a well-documented pattern of building toward big anniversary or landmark exits with drawn-out illness arcs rather than sudden accidents, something we've seen play out before with other beloved Cobbles characters. And crucially, Carla's kidney history from last year has never fully been put to bed. Fans have pointed out that a transplanted organ, especially one obtained under the dramatic and emotionally charged circumstances Carla's was, is exactly the kind of storyline Cetus soap will replant months or years later to devastating effect. If complications from that transplant, or an entirely new condition layered on top of her already fragile health record, are about to come to light, it would explain both the diagnosis, language circulating among fans, and the emotional, almost elegiac tone of the discussions swirling around her character. Now, let's talk about the fan reaction, because it has been enormous. Soap forums and comment sections have lit up with viewers sharing their history with Carla, many saying she's the character who kept them watching Coronation Street through its rockier years. There's a real outpouring of nostalgia happening, with fans revisiting some of her most iconic moments, from the harrowing Tony Gordon storyline to her factory collapse breakdown, to her more recent, tender relationship with Lisa Swain. On social media, the phrase, "we're not ready," has been trending in Corrie fan circles, alongside pleas for the show not to kill off a character who has survived literally everything else the Cobbles have thrown at her. At the same time, there's a healthy dose of skepticism in the mix too. Longtime viewers know Coronation Street has teased Carla's demise before, only for her to pull through, and plenty of fans are pointing out that this could simply be another dramatic health scare designed to shake up her marriage to Lisa or reignite tension with her factory workers rather than a genuine, permanent exit. Soap media outlets covering the story have largely stuck to careful, conditional language, framing it as growing speculation and mounting fan theories rather than confirmed fact, which tells you a lot about where things currently stand. This is a story still very much in the rumor and build-up phase, not the confirmed farewell phase, but the sheer volume of chatter shows just how much weight Carla's character carries with the audience. So, what could this actually mean for the show going forward? If Coronation Street is indeed building toward a genuine exit for Carla Connor, the ripple effects would be seismic. Carla isn't just a supporting player who pops in for the occasional dramatic week. She is, alongside characters like Roy Cropper and the extended Barlow clan, one of the connective threads holding entire eras of the show together. Her ownership stake in the Underworld factory has been a recurring engine for storylines involving half the cast, from Aidan Connor's tragic arc to Alia Nazir's rise as a businesswoman in her own right. Losing Carla would mean losing one of the last direct links to some of Corrie's most significant storylines of the past 2 decades, and it would leave a very real gap in the show's emotional core. It would also be an enormous moment for Lisa Swain's storyline, given how recently the two women married. A terminal or life-altering diagnosis so soon after a wedding is precisely the kind of gut-punch structure soaps use to maximize emotional impact, and if this is the direction being taken, expect the show to lean hard into that tragic irony, showing a newly married couple confronting mortality, just as they'd found happiness. For Alison King herself, this would mark the end of a 19-year on-and-off association with the role, one that has defined much of her career and turned Carla into one of the most recognizable characters in the history of British soap opera. Actors leaving long-running roles like this often describe it as bittersweet, a chance to close a chapter on their own terms after being given a storyline meaty enough to do the character justice. If Alison King is indeed preparing to exit, fans can likely expect a farewell that plays out over weeks or even months, rather than a single sudden episode, giving the show time to pay tribute to nearly 2 decades of Carla Connor drama, resilience, and heartbreak. Of course, there's also a very real possibility that this entire narrative gets flipped on its head, because that's exactly the kind of trick Coronation Street loves to pull. Fans are already speculating about alternate directions the story could take. Some think a devastating diagnosis will be revealed only for a last-minute medical breakthrough or transplant to save Carla once again, echoing her sepsis storyline from last year. Others believe the diagnosis, chatter, might actually be misdirection, teasing viewers into fearing the worst about Carla's health when the real bombshell is aimed at someone close to her instead, perhaps Lisa, or another member of the extended Connor and Barlow family. There's also chatter that if this storyline is real, it could be timed to coincide with a major show anniversary or a sweeps week event, giving Corrie the kind of headline-grabbing, tear-jerking send-off that generates exactly the sort of conversation we're having right now. Whatever direction the show ultimately takes, one thing is clear. The producers know precisely how emotionally invested audiences are in this character, and they are not going to waste that goodwill on a throwaway storyline. So where does that leave us? Right now, the safest way to describe the situation is this. Coronation Street has not made an official announcement confirming Carla Connor's departure or naming a specific terminal diagnosis, but the accumulation of health-related storylines over the past 2 years, combined with reflective comments from Allison King and a wave of fan and media speculation, has created a genuine sense that something major is coming for this character. Whether that turns out to be another survival story, a slow-burn illness arc, or finally, after 19 years, a true and permanent goodbye, remains to be seen. What we can say for certain is that Carla Connor has never been an easy character to write off, and if the show really is preparing to let her go, it will almost certainly be one of the most emotional exits Coronation Street has produced in years. That's everything we know so far about the Carla Connor speculation taking over the Coronation Street fan community, and we will be keeping a very close eye on this story as more details emerge. Do you think Carla is really on her way out? Or is this just another dramatic scare that she'll pull through like she always does? Let us know your theories and your favorite Carla Connor moments down in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you want to stay ahead of every twist, turn, and rumor coming out of Weatherfield, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.